What's up, everyone? I'm Henry, and I'm Hey everyone, welcome back to 16 weeks, and I'm about to show you what... Alright, let's forget about the intro. My name is Henry, and I kind of just talk in monotone, and I'm about to show you what it's like as a Vehicle Design Engineering Intern at Tesla. Let's go. So before we get started, let's talk a bit about who I am. So I don't know, do we start with like fun facts or something? I'm 20 years old, I'm Virgo. I've never done a vlog before and still getting used to this whole talking to the camera thing. I'm sponsored by O. Henry, which is a chocolate bar company in Canada. And I've had a lot of pets. I was born and raised in Taipei. And when I was 13, my family and I moved to Vancouver, where I went to high school. And currently, I am finishing my second year of mechanical engineering at the University of Waterloo, while doing an internship at Tesla in the San Francisco Bay Area. Wait, you don't know what a Tesla is? So Tesla designs and manufactures the best electric vehicles on the market and the ecosystems around them as well. I'm currently interning on the Exteriors Vehicle Design Engineering team. As the name suggests, we work on the parts that are outside on the cars. For example, the roof, the fascia, underbody, frunk, spoiler, truck bed, appliques, badges, and a lot more. On top of that, we also do some parts that are on the inside of the car, and we call them the underhood components. They're really critical in the safety of both the drivers and the pedestrians in vehicle crash events. Something that initially surprised me a lot is everything that I listed before are done by only 8 engineers on the team, plus an intern. And this brings up the question of, what is it like to be an intern at Tesla? A question that people ask is whether or not Tesla treat their interns like an actual engineer. And the truth is, they don't. They treat you like 2 engineers. So I've interned at quite a few different companies before in the past, but I've never been given the chance to have this much impact on the products that we're building. When I learned about my projects from my mentors, I realized that I'm supposed to design like all these pretty important components on the cars, and especially one of them will be an industry first, like record-breaking feature on the cars that will be making history. And I was like, wait a second, are you sure about this? And it took me a while to get used to juggling this much trust and responsibilities, but in the end, I was able to learn so much from this environment, and the things that I learned are just simply life-changing. I had to come back to Canada 2 weeks ago to apply for a new visa, and now I'm about to fly back to the States again to resume working in person. I guess the nice thing about flying in the pandemic is that there are no lines at all. Alright, I just landed in Vancouver Airport, and I'm gonna use this chance to also stay for a few days and catch up with some friends here. Yeah. It's whatever.
Logging our food finished.
Just got my negative COVID test result. I've probably done like 10 COVID tests in the past month. And I'm gonna go check in and apply for my visa. So, see if it works out. Alright, I'm back to the Bay Area at my uncle's house where I'm staying for the duration of my internship. And yeah, I'm just gonna like settle down and get ready to go back to office tomorrow, and I'll show you how it is. Peace. Alright, it is currently Tuesday and I am on the way to work right now. Where I live is around 20 minutes away from Fremont, where the vehicle engineering office is located. And I usually just put autopilot on and enjoy the view while eating breakfast or listening to a podcast. Alright, you probably already saw this coming, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to film in the office. But to give an idea, one thing about the building is that it's a pretty straight building where the engineering teams are sitting on the left and right of the hallway. And whenever you have to walk across the office, it's always a cool feeling to take a quick glance at their screens and know that this is an assembly line of ideas where the engineers bring a concept car all the way down to a completed vehicle design. And it's a really cool feeling to just understand that this is where everything happens, where all the Tesla vehicles come to life. And no, I didn't get to meet Elon, but he does come down here every once in a while to review the new cars or to review any quality issues or for any new vehicle launch events. Yeah, I wish. And the Fremont Tesla factory is actually located just down the street from our office. And we would try to go down there as often as we can to see how the cars are being built, if our designs are going according to the plan. And yeah, it's a really satisfying feeling to know and see that something that you worked on, that you actually own, is going onto the cars that will be delivered to the customers. I actually can't wait for the new cars to come out and see what I worked on running on the road. It'll be such a weird feeling, but I'll show you guys by then. My favorite part about working in person is probably being able to travel to different places. I also had a chance to fly down to LA, where the Tesla and SpaceX headquarters are located, to build some new car prototypes. I took the chance to fly down a day earlier to check out some beautiful places in Southern California. Alright, so I saw this meme on TikTok a while ago and decided to film this section to explain what we actually do. So how the do we make a car? Does Elon just tell us that he wants a triangle on wheels and we just go ahead and make it? What do vehicle engineers do every day? Throughout my 7 months of internship at Tesla, I've been trying to answer these questions for myself through working with different teams. Even though I'm nowhere close to grasping the whole process fully, I'm going to try to keep the nerdy stuff short and try to explain what we do in 2 minutes. So, the vehicle design engineers don't actually start designing a car from scratch, because unfortunately most of us don't have a great sense of aesthetics. Every car company has a design studio, and the people in there are really good at designing beautiful things. They provide us with a digital surface model of the car, which is essentially an empty shell, and it describes what the car should look like. And our job as design engineers is to bring this concept car to life. So we usually first break the car down into its components and figure out what requirements each component has. Every requirement has to be met, but they can be met in different ways. However, each requirement is also impacted by another requirement, and that's where things start to get messy. Let me show you an example that I did. One of my projects is to design this component with a logo on there for one of the new cars. The design studio provided me information on what it should look like on the outside, and everyone worked together to generate requirements for this part. For instance, the gap around the part must be small enough so it doesn't look ugly. It also can't be taken off too easily, and it has to hold other components on the bottom as well. One important rule is that physical things are never perfect. Something can always be bigger, smaller, or out of place. So how should I mount this thing? Do I use tape or screws? How many do I need and where do I place them so that they can always be perfectly and securely mounted? What material do I use to get this shiny color? I also need to make sure that the gap on top looks small even when the part is not perfect. The final design also can't take too long to install, or it's going to slow down the car production speed. And essentially, our job is to find one solution that can satisfy all these requirements. And when we finalize on the design, we still have to go through a series of steps to verify it. There are even more that goes on behind every one of these steps. For example, how do we test something that's supposed to be on a car for 30 years in just 3 months? When we finally take the part into production, how can we make sure that when we make 1 million parts, all of them will be the same? For every aspect that I mentioned previously, there's an expert behind it, and our job as design engineers is to collaborate with them and help them do their job and use their expertise to make the final decision. That was a bit over time, but hope that made sense. A good framework I like to use is the good, fast, cheap triangle. It states that when doing anything, it's only possible to have 2 out of the 3. However, at Tesla, it is our job every day to defy this rule and achieve the impossible. Hope that helped. What's up? We're in Malibu. It's the first weekend of the month now. We're not sleeping in a car. I was going to, but Julian convinced me not to. I just copped the GoPro literally like right before this trip, and we're gonna go test it out, surfing, and learning how to use it right now.
It's on the left.
Like this one?
No, it's this one on the left.
This is his house?
Yeah.
This is how, like he lives here.
Wait, he has like a charger there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he does have this.
we're in Malibu,
Shoot.
and this is Adam Sandler's house.
And that's his basketball hoop.
Spin and then you move on.
Julian, say hi.
Teaching Julian how to surf right now. Getting him to practice. When you just started surfing, you wanna stay close to the beach, surf the wide waters like this. You know, just get used to being pushed by the wave. Let's go.
You film like your Q&A question.
Yeah. Alright, well, while we're sitting here waiting for some waves, I'll take some time to answer some questions that you guys may have. So, how did I find my job at Tesla? I found it through LinkedIn actually. I was just scrolling through LinkedIn one night and I saw a profile who's my current mentor. And his profile seemed really cool. He's also from Waterloo. So I just sent him a connection request. And he literally just responded offering an interview. So, shoot your shots. You know what they say about shooting shots.
You miss 100% of the shots.
Yes, that's what they say about shooting shots. So adding on to what I said back there are tons of other people that give better advice than me on job searching, but I just want to tell you that be confident and believe in yourself. Job searching is probably one of the most unrewarding process there is because your motivation is bound to go downhill until you find that right opportunity. And if that's happening to you, that's okay. Just know that it's part of the process and keep going. Play the numbers game, but play it smart. And one day you'll eventually hit that inflection point and see your phone light up with that right notification. Music is also a really big part of my life. Sometimes I like to stay home and practice my piano and guitar as well. Right, so regarding the recruitment process, something that I used to believe in is that you need to have automotive experience or student design team in order for Tesla to be interested in you. And obviously those are very relevant to the role itself, but after I got in, I realized that what they're really looking for is examples of yourself solving hard engineering problems. So in your resume and portfolio, instead of rapid firing everything that you've done before in the past, try to pick just 2 to 4 projects that you really took ownership on and outline the steps that you took to solve the problem, as well as the results in quantifiable terms. I think what helped me the most in landing a job is creating a presentation that I use to go through my experiences. It's like a portfolio, but a portfolio is meant to be glanced through and make a good first impression, whereas your presentation is meant to be engaging and make yourself stick in the interviewer's head. 90% of the time you'll be asked to give a summary of your experience or to walk through your resume, and this is a time to ask, hey, do you mind if I share my screen real quick? Make sure to use analogies and illustrations to make your projects easy to understand. I'm a pretty bad storyteller myself, but I'm pretty sure it would be hard for anyone to try to describe this or this with just words. For my interview, we actually spent like an entire hour on just 2 projects that I did, and they also asked technical questions that are related to the projects themselves. So yeah, I highly recommend everyone to do this because trust me, the interviewers are tired of asking generic questions as much as you hate answering them, and you also keep the questions close to your comfort zone at the same time. So yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram and ask me any questions that you may have. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the 16 Weeks channel. Keep posted for a new video coming out next week on 16 Weeks. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel as well. I think I'm going to post more stuff that I didn't get to in this video. Peace out.